ever wake up at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling thinking, why me again? Yeah, me too. Sometimes I swear there's a secret club for women over 40 who can't stay asleep. I don't know what it is about that hour. Some folks call it the bewitching hour, like there's some supernatural or super spiritual thing about it. I just know that on this side of 50, I am not a fan of 3 a.m. showing up all uninvited. Are you? Because when you've already fought to fall asleep in the first place, only to wake up a few hours later, you can already imagine what kind of day that's going to be. Foggy brain, heavy eyes, and zero patience. And that was me for a long time until I started to look at the 3 a.m. wake ups a little differently. So today I wanted to share with you what I learned about why it happens, how I started using the time to actually help my body, and what to do when sleep just won't stick no matter what you try. You know, sleep just doesn't hit the same after 40. I don't know if it's hormones, habits, or just life, but truly restful sleep, nah, that's not happening, right? And listen, it's not like I'm new to waking up at crazy hours. Motherhood, that was my training ground. I remember all too well nights with a newborn, functioning barely on 3 hours of sleep and a prayer. 3 a.m. would come, I'm all smiling, talking about, hey, it's mama's poo-poo, how you doing? But see, my kids are all grown now. Nobody's waking me up, at least nobody I can blame. So why am I staring at the ceiling like it's going to whisper answers to me? Some people say it's because we've slipped into a lighter stage of sleep around this time. And once we pop up for whatever reason, usually to go pee, then going back to sleep, that's not happening. And that's plausible, yeah? Others believe between the hours of 3 and 4 that our body's energy shifts. It's quieter, less noise, less distractions, and we're closer to our natural state of being. Then there's the usual suspects. Too much caffeine, wine before bedtime, or just too much water close to bedtime. All possible culprits for why we're up at 3 a.m. But as a woman over 40 who has danced with adrenal fatigue and hormonal shifts for years, I've learned or believe there's more to it. My body is sensitive and talks loudly. Sometimes those 3 a.m. wake ups, it's stress from the day. Sometimes it's my cortisol tapping me on the shoulder like, hey girl, melatonin has left the building, time to wake up and worry. So I started tracking my triggers, the seasons, what I eat, even how late I eat. And it's wild how much those little details affect whether or not we sleep through the night. So yeah, there's definitely something going on. But the good news is, once I started to pay attention, things started to shift. Slowly but sure. All right, let's talk about actually staying asleep past 3 a.m. Because waking up in the middle of the night is one thing. Trying to convince your body to go back to sleep, that's a whole nother story. The first thing I had to do was take a good look at my evening meal. See, my work schedule is all over the place. Some nights I'm eating dinner at 6 o'clock. Other nights my schedule aligns and I have to eat dinner at 8 or 9 o'clock. And for a while I thought, okay, I'll just eat dinner early. Problem solved. Oh my stars. The way I would be mean mugging the cabinets in the refrigerator come 9 o'clock at night. So instead of having to stare down a few times a week, I decided to make peace with an 8:30 dinner time. But I change what I eat at that time. Since it's late, that meal is lighter and easier for me to digest. Warm, soothing, and usually has some kind of bone broth mixed in. Just enough to satisfy without overwhelming and overworking my digestion. Because here's the thing, and I didn't want to believe it either. By evening time, our digestion slows way down. Now, you wouldn't know that looking at the restaurant menus with their heavy entrees and desserts. But when you think about it, it makes sense. We are not running around, completing errands, or doing a lot of manual work come evening time. We are winding down, or at least we should be. So that's why I keep that meal simple. And right after dinner, I do something super extra nice and special for myself. I take a short 10-minute walk, be it outside if the weather is conducive. If not, then I just walk around my house for 10 minutes. That's it, nothing fancy, just a slow stroll to help everything process better. When I skip it, sure enough, I am wide awake come 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, kicking myself because I knew better. I knew I should have taken that walk. It was only 10 minutes. That little walk helps my food settle, keeps my blood sugar steady, and signals to my body, hey, we're winding down now. It's a rhythm I strongly believe our bodies crave after food. Now let's talk routines. Yep, I know. For years, I fought against the concept of routines. The word routine made me itch. It felt restrictive, like I was signing up for a boring, predictable life when I wanted freedom and spontaneity. But you know what they say, a hard head makes a soft butt. And baby, my hard-headedness took my health down a path I wish I would have detoured from a whole lot sooner. It has taken me years to build a solid daytime routine to support me, how I eat, when I move, how I rest. But nighttime, that is still a work in progress. At night, I am basically the 12-year-old version version of myself sitting in front of the TV begging to watch one more show, knowing that I have to get up early in the morning to go to school and I'm going to be sitting in my first period class like this. You'd think by 54 I'd have more sense. Nah. So I have to give my brain a little nudge, a little loving shove. I set 2 alarms on my phone. The first one says, go wash the day off your face. That's my first cue to start winding down. You know, skincare stuff, pajamas, blue light glasses, the whole bit. Then my second alarm comes a little bit later and it just simply says, go to bed, sweetie. And you know what? That soft, gentle reminder, it works the majority of the time. It feels gentle but firm, like the version of myself I'm trying to grow into. Now, once I'm in bed, I make it a whole vibe. I rub a little magnesium oil or other massage oil on my feet, instant relaxation. Whew. Then I slip on a pair of socks and grab a heating pad or this heating cooling thingy that my husband bought me a while ago. It's ridiculous how happy this makes me. And let me tell you, I know the research says that it's best to sleep in a cool room, but over 40, with the vacillation of the hot flashes and the cold flashes, we need to start wherever our body is in the moment. So if you're cold, you want to get yourself warm. If you're warm, you want to get yourself cold. Because when I first go to sleep, during that first phase, if a breeze of cold air comes in, I am going to wake up instantly. It disrupts everything for me. And then it usually sends me running to the bathroom. I'm wide awake with cortisol on standby. And you know that level of cortisol is not supposed to show up until early morning when we're about to go tackle the day. So yeah, I pick comfort over theory. You figure out what works for you. If cold works for you, do cold. But if heat works for you, do heat. Get your sleep now. With all of my routines, supplements, and bedtime practices. Sometimes 3 a.m., that still comes knocking, especially around the holidays because of late dinners, family gatherings, a little extra dessert. None of that gives a rat's behind about my sleep schedule. And for the longest time, I would wake up at 3 a.m. Mad at the clock, mad at myself, mad at all the people in my house who were still asleep, drooling on their pillows, and I'm wide awake looking at the ceiling. But one night, in between frustration and irritation, I just asked myself, Tressey, what good is all this mad doing? Because with all that frustration, it wasn't putting me back to sleep. It was just raising my stress hormones and setting me up for a cranky day. So I decided to stop fighting it and start working with it. If I wake up and I can't fall back to sleep, I do one of 2 things. Sometimes I lay in bed and I do this little trick called legs up the wall. Sounds funny, but it's kind of magical. I grab a pillow, scoot to the middle of the bed, swing my legs up against the wall, throw a blanket over myself, lay there and breathe. Within minutes, my body starts to calm down, my mind slows down. Sometimes I drift off to sleep again. Other times I don't. But what I do notice is that whether I go to sleep or not, by the time I'm ready to get out the bed to start the day, I feel refreshed, which totally beats laying in bed, tossing and turning, cussing and fussing. Other nights when I don't put my legs up the wall, I just get up, nothing dramatic. I just move to another space in the house. I grab a blanket, a book, or a crossword puzzle. I turn on a little white noise or a calming podcast. No phone scrolling, no bright lights, just me being gentle with myself. And that's the key, gentleness. I stop punishing myself for waking up. I stop labeling it bad. Instead, I try to use that time to check in with my body, check in with myself, decipher what adjustments I can make. Maybe I will change something in my workout, or perhaps I will allow myself to have a few more carbs that day for a little bit more energy. And if I'm being real with myself and real with you, some of my best ideas and deepest peace, it comes at that 3 a.m. moment. So if you find yourself awake at 3 a.m., don't curse it. Don't curse yourself. Just take a deep breath and consider that maybe your body's asking for a little attention. Use the time wisely, with care, with curiosity, and with compassion for the woman you are becoming. Because sometimes those 3 a.m. wake-ups, they aren't interruptions, they're invitations for you to remember your body's changing, your hormones are dancing. Cha-cha now, cha-cha again, and your life is full, probably too full. And maybe, just maybe, that 3 a.m. wake-up isn't there to punish you. Maybe it's there to remind you to pause and listen. And when morning comes, let us both promise to meet the day with kindness for ourselves and gratitude for another chance to get it right. Rest well, my friend.